The perfect snickerdoodle. Seems pretty easy, right? They're actually a little bit more complicated than you might think. The classic snickerdoodle has to have cream of tartar, and it has a little special way of mixing to get all those beautiful cracks. You want to learn how? Well, it's coming up next on the Sugar Geek Show. All right, so let's go ahead and start making our snickerdoodles. First things first, we got to cream our softened butter, soft but not fully melted. We're gonna add in some white sugar and some brown sugar. White sugar is going to make our cookies spread, and brown sugar is going to make them chewy. So you have to have like that perfect balance. I have a little bit more white sugar than brown sugar. We're going to mix this until it's light and fluffy and creamy. This is going to give those snickerdoodles that puff and the lightness, so you don't want to skip this spot. Stop to scrape the bowl if you need to. Just want to make sure all that butter is getting mixed in with the sugar. You can definitely do this with a hand mixer or even a whisk if you want to work out your arm muscles. We're going to mix this on medium speed for 1 to 2 minutes until it looks right. Depending on how cold your butter is, it could take longer or take less time. That is nice and creamy. All right, I might as well show you guys what's going on over here. I have my eggs, my 1 egg and my 1 egg yolk cracked into a bowl, and I felt it with my finger, and even though it's room temperature, it still felt a little cold, and that's a bad thing, because if our eggs are colder than our butter, then our eggs cannot combine with the butter. It won't create an emulsification, it won't emulsify, it won't come together. And that's what happened on my first batch of cookies. They just were really doughy and didn't kind of like rise up. So this time I warmed my eggs up in just a little bowl of hot water for literally just like 2 minutes. And then when you feel it, it just shouldn't feel cold. So now we're gonna mix our egg and egg yolk on medium speed for about 2 minutes until it's light and fluffy. And that is what's gonna make the cookies puff up and then collapse, and you get all those beautiful cracks. The secret to snickerdoodles. Scrape the bowl. Liz, why aren't you using your Bosch? Because I'm making a small batch of cookies, and I only use my Bosch for larger batches of things. Oh, thanks for the information. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Super light and fluffy with tons of air worked in. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add in my vanilla, my baking soda, and our cream of tartar. If you don't add in the cream of tartar, then it's not a snickerdoodle. It adds that certain taste. It's kind of a tangy taste that snickerdoodles have. It also gives it its rise. So if you don't have cream of tartar, then it's just a cinnamon sugar cookie, not a snickerdoodle. So we're adding those in first, and we're just gonna mix it. If you are completely confused by cream of tartar and you're just like, what is that? I've never heard of it. You can use equal amounts of lemon juice. That's still gonna give you that sort of acidic, bitter taste, but it's not gonna be exactly like a snickerdoodle. So, you know, if you get your hands on some cream of tartar, the purists will not give you a hard time, but you can use lemon juice. But Liz, what is cream of tartar? Oh, I'm so glad you've asked me. I can't wait to tell you. Cream of tartar is the powdery substance that comes off of grapes. I'm not sure if it's before or after they're fermented. And I'm just like, who collected all of that powdery substance and was like, we must bottle this and use it for baking? I know, we'll make snickerdoodles. Well, lots of recipes use cream of tartar, so I don't know. All right, so now we're gonna add our flour in until it's just combined. Don't wanna overmix it. Not yet. Not yet. Stop! There we go. It smells amazing, the cinnamon. And I think I can actually smell the cream of tartar, if that makes sense. It's got this very distinctive kind of, yeah, it's like a little sharp, tangy note. Like, that's the wine. This has hints of floral, fruity, and finishes pretty strong. Is that how you do it? So now you gotta let it breathe. Just swirl it. Oh yeah. All right, so now we're gonna make our topping. Just a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and 4 tablespoons. Teaspoons, 4 teaspoons of cinnamon. Mix that together. I like a nice dark cinnamon coating on the outside of the snickerdoodle so that you can really see the cracks. Plus, if you don't like cinnamon, why are you making snickerdoodles? Like, if you want to see all of my tips and fun facts about cream of tartar, you can check it out on the blog post. So when I tested these the first time, I didn't have a cookie scoop. I just kind of gauged 2 tablespoons of dough. So if that's what you want to do, totally can. You just scoop that in, fill it up, kind of push it up against the side. And I have a perfect snickerdoodle. And we're going to roll it into a ball. Don't have to go crazy with perfection. And then we're going to roll it in the cinnamon sugar. You can go all the way around, but I'm just going to do the top. And then we're going to put them onto our beautiful cookie sheet. So I'm going to probably do about 9 per cookie sheet so they have room to spread. Best part is no chilling required. What? How is that possible? Because you know what? Like, people have evolved over the years to make cookie dough that doesn't require chilling because they know we are poor planners. And I want cookies now, not 3 hours from now or tomorrow. You know what, though? If you have the time, it is ideal to at least let these sit for 30 minutes because that helps the flour absorb the liquid in the recipe, and like the eggs basically, and they will spread less. So if you have cookies that are just like spreading everywhere, that's really what the chilling is for flour absorption. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and bake these in the oven for 10 minutes at 350 degrees. You might need 1 minute more, but for me, 10 minutes was perfect. Aside from the fact that they're a little bit too close together. So when your snickerdoodles first come out of the oven, it's super important not to touch them. Let them cool for 5 minutes or so just on the pan, and that's going to continue to bake them. So they might seem like they're underdone, but they're actually still baking. And then they're going to start to collapse down and you'll see those cracks developing. And then you want to transfer them to a cooling rack, let them fully cool, and they're going to set up even further and make that super soft, moist, perfect snickerdoodle texture and crumb. All right, so our snickerdoodles have totally cooled down, and I'm going to show you the difference between the ones that I baked for 12 minutes, which are a little bit firmer, and the ones that I baked for 10 minutes. So these are the cookies that I baked for 12 minutes. They are, I can just feel, just barely have a little bit of give in there, kind of crunchy around the outside edges. And I'm going to break this open. So it's still got a nice chewy center, but just like a little bit of a firmer texture. These are a little bit darker on the inside than your standard snickerdoodle because of the brown sugar. This is the one for 10 minutes, and I can already feel it's just like a little bit softer on the center. And just a little bit more moist, not crispy on the edges. The edges are still nice and soft. Okay, this is the one that we baked for 12 minutes. I mean, I'm not mad. One's really good. A little bit crispy on the edges. I thought I wasn't going to like it as much, but it's actually still really good. Nice texture. You can taste the cinnamon, the sweetness. You can definitely taste that cream of tartar. It's just that tangy, it's almost like a buttermilk flavor that is distinctly, yes, I'm eating a snickerdoodle. Okay, so this is the 10-minute one. So soft, but not raw. Very slightly doughier in the center. For me, I think I like the one that's 12 minutes. It's just a little bit cakier and not quite as doughy in the center. But this to me is more like a classic snickerdoodle. Does that make sense? So 10 minutes if you want a softer, doughier snickerdoodle. 12 minutes if you want something that's a little bit more cakier and like the texture of a chocolate chip cookie. So that's it, guys. That is how you make the perfect snickerdoodle cookie. Hopefully you enjoyed this recipe. Stay tuned. We're gonna be making tons more cookie recipes, and I'm gonna be showing you in an upcoming video how to ship them all over the world. But first, more cookie videos. If you wanna look really fancy, you should try these chocolate macarons. I mean, come on, those look delicious, right?